the journey really came to a head for me when my health became at risk. Wanting to help women is I don't want women to go through what I went through. I learned that by calming the nervous system, by meditation, or making sure I'm in nature every day. I get
Yes.
meditation's not for everyone, but it's the one that comes up most often.
Hi, everyone. It's Shaelene McInnis here with Books in Line, accounting services, taxes, bookkeeping, CRA services, and with the Ontario Wellness Network. As you all know, I'm focusing on wellness. COVID was very long and very hard, and I think our world needs a little bit of healthy wellness discussion right now. So I'm very happy to introduce you to my next guest. Her name is Misty Lucas. She is a coach, and she is someone actually I'm very interested in speaking with. She's a life coach, and she's helping women who are transitioning from the corporate world to being an entrepreneur. And I'm telling you, I could have used this about 15 years ago. I really could have, because basically when I left the corporate world, I was like, okay, I guess I'm on my own, and then off you go. So this is a conversation worth listening to. And again, as I always say, I'm going to have all of our contact information included here. If you need to call the office, we can do a referral directly. You can call Books Online 905-571-2665. We are happy to do an introduction directly to Misty. And normally I wouldn't do this, but I am going to do this time. I'm going to read Misty's bio because I thought, okay, well, that's fascinating. So I'm going to start with her bio, and then I'm going to ask her to introduce herself because this is about her. So Misty Lucas, a holistic life coach supporting women's transition from corporate confines to the purpose-driven paths, brings a rich tapestry of personal and professional experiences. Her background as a paralegal and practice manager in the legal realm provided a foundation rooted in structure and diligence. Yet within that landscape, Misty found herself yearning for a more meaningful journey, a transition she courageously pursued. I'd like to start with that part because I think becoming an entrepreneur is a very courageous. I think it takes so much courage to do that. Continue. Her own evolution echoes the very transformation she inspires in others, drawing from her history of caregiving for her parents amid health challenges. Misty intimately understands the struggles of juggling ambition with personal well being. This understanding became her compass in navigating her own transition, demonstrating unequivocally that profound change is not only possible, but is also deeply rewarding. Today, as a beacon of possibility, Misty, through her holistic life coaching at Misty Lucas Wellness, offers a guiding light for women, blending her legal acumen with the wisdom gleaned from her personal odyssey. Her story stands as a testament to the potential for meaningful metamorphosis, illustrating that embracing one's authentic path is not merely attainable, but an enriching and empowering journey. That like it was one of the best intros I've ever seen. I'm like, oh, that's really good. That's why I read it. I normally wouldn't read these, but that was really, really good. There's so much in here. I think that myself and I think so many other people see in themselves when they go from working in the corporate world to becoming empowered and deciding their own future and their own fate and starting their own business. So thank you. Yeah, I'd love to know how you came about deciding that you were going to leave that world and start your own business. I'm curious about that.
Well, first off, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, and yeah, the journey really came to a head for me when my health became at risk, and so sort of in today's how I am today, wanting to help women is I don't want women to go through what I went through. So in 2011, I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and my whole body was rejecting my lifestyle. And in that moment, I didn't know that that's what it was, but I couldn't walk. I couldn't move. Like I was really sick, and I went on some heavy meds and had to really go inward. Although I did not surrender easily, I thought fighting was the way through it. And it was sort of coming into the place of surrender when I found this meaning of this is actually here for me. Life is giving me a gift, and how can I move through this? And so it took me a number of years. I think a lot of my clients ask, like, how many years did it take before you got back, back to where you are? And I mean, it took me a lot, like a long time. And that's
Hmm.
okay because I learned along the way, but it really was a health crisis. And this is what I just don't want other women to have to go through,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
in order to see that they have other options.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been in the corporate world. I was in the corporate world for years and years and years, and I love the work that I did, but the stress and the way that you're expected to maybe treat other employees and stuff is not in line with my values. So I was pregnant when I decided that no, I'm going to start my own business. No idea what I was going to do, by the way. But that was the thing. It's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. You're 9 months pregnant and going, no, not doing this anymore. So let me ask you. Um, so if anyone is in the position that you once were, where you're in this corporate world, health crisis, not pregnant, not but if you're thinking about moving from that corporate world to being an entrepreneur, can you give us like some ideas of like 3 ideas of before you make that leap, what would you recommend? I mean, I have some ideas, but I'd like to hear what you have to say as a life coach.
So first off, I always say slow down. Like it's like slow down and tune in because sometimes we can make reactionary decisions. I mean that, and
Hmm.
it's what the first, like really the important thing to do is to slow down and tune in and allow your nervous system to recalibrate into a place that you can see all of your options available. Oftentimes when we're in heightened states of stress, we're in fight
Hmm.
or flight. And when we're in fight
Yes.
or flight, our options are very narrow and it's hard for us to see what might be available and also to see what we could create. We're not in a creative state when we're in fight or flight. So oftentimes it's like, well, let's slow you down and like tune in. What do you really want? Like, it's like you got to get clear on what you want before you make the leap. And
Hmm.
unless you have a big safety net, like if you have a big nest egg and you can take the leap, but a lot of times money is money.
Yes.
Money is the one thing I often hear from women. I can't do it. I
Yeah.
can't leave the money.
Yeah.
But it's like, but you're in fight or flight. So you're not actually seeing how you could make the same money in another way. So
Right.
the first thing I would say is slow down, take care of yourself, come into self-care practices, allow your nervous system to regulate, and then tune in. What do you really want? Like get clear on what you want. And then you could start making an action plan from that place.
Okay. So you help mostly women. Is it mostly women that you're helping with this kind of work? So
Yes.
when you say self-care practices, could you give me some examples of what you mean by self-care practices?
Yeah. So uh, for me, it's like notice the first thing is the first lesson I learned was I had no idea what my nervous system did in my body.
Mm.
And how when I was stressed, I was in fight or flight and it was activating all of these different systems, shutting down different systems. So when I surrendered, I started to learn these modalities. I learned that by calming the nervous system by meditation or making sure I'm in nature every day. I get
Yes.
meditation's not for everyone, but it's the one that comes up most often. But even going outside for a walk, being in nature, that
Hmm.
supports your nervous system, that supports a calming state, that helps you de-stress. And it's like get outside for 10 minutes, breathe some
Hmm.
fresh air, go for a walk, move the body. Journaling when you're stressed out, like getting all of the stuff that's in your mind onto paper, that's going to just help sort of clear it and bring you into the present moment and really let you reflect on, is this like, is this do or die type thing? Like you're able to take that moment and reflect. Breath practices,
Hmm.
like just breathing, like consciously breathing. I mean, we all breathe, and I know that.
Yeah.
But if you
But
slow down and
consciously.
take 3 deep breaths, your whole system, you'll notice, you'll go, you can notice the energy in a room. When I teach women in a room and we do like grounding first thing, and I just do breath, the whole energy in the room is like, it just like drops. And it just is very soothing and calming. And just these are the types, but bringing them in every day, like every few hours during the day, like
Hmm.
2 to 3 minutes, and starting to really build that in as part of your life.
Yeah, I like that. Especially we're November going into December. So I'm, already thinking about 2024. I'm one of those people that likes to have goals and tries to work on things. And meditation is one of my goals, by the way. But I also like this book by James Clear, Atomic Habits. It's a great book, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, now I'm going to start to do this every day and build on each other. So I like the meditation. I'm going to really work on that one. That's on my goal, my list of goals. Okay, I'm going to start to meditate because I really need to. I like that you said that. That's good. So tell me, what kind of clients come to you? What kind of people? What are the when people come to you? Why is it that they've come to you? Why have they chosen to come to you now?
So I have a variation. I have people who are wanting to start their own business, right? And so I'm working with a client right now, and she's building a retreat center. So we
Oh,
are like
nice.
laying the foundation so she can get really clear on who she's serving, what she
Mm-hmm.
needs to do. But it starts with the inner work. And I know that sometimes people are in a hurry, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times it's we got to get clear on our own values. We got to get clear on what our vision is. And then it just becomes much easier. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
are aligned with yourself, and I like to think of it, okay, when you're aligned with the soul of inside of you, everything else is easier because you get to make decisions from that place. So when you are confronted
Right.
with decisions that you need to make as an entrepreneur, you can decide, is this in alignment? Is this going to make me feel good? Is this going to
Right.
help propel me forward? Or is this going to take me off track? So I work with women who are starting their business. I work with women who have retired and are looking at starting, I guess people call it side hustles. I
Mm-hmm.
work with women like with lawyers. I work with real estate agents. So I
Mm-hmm.
can really work with women who are trying to carve out their career in a way that feels right for them. Right.
Right.
So
With some meaning. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I remember reading Seven Habits of Highly Effective People and Jack Canfield's Success Principles, and they say the same thing. You have to do what's in alignment with your values. And I find now my life is much more in alignment with my values than it was when I was in the corporate world. That was not at all in alignment. Um, so when someone comes to you, um, is it usually online or is it in person? Like you're talking about the woman with the retreat center. I'm interested in that. I'd like to know more about that. I'm like, hey, I like a retreat center.
Yeah, so I do work online.
Mhm.
I do have in-person events. I host VIP days, I call them. So sometimes it's that you just need a tune-up or you just want to spend the day with me. And
Right.
I live in the country, so we have 23 acres and
Yep.
we have like bunkies and platforms in the woods.
Yep.
So I create a day where you are nourished, nurtured, and we like goal set plan. What is it going to look like? So I do meet people in person. I do workshops online. So it's really, however, I'm happy to always meet in person, but
Hmm.
online tends to work for people because they're busy. And then this
Right.
is a way that we can still have that connection and be able to support them in the way that feels good.
Yeah, I'm just going to remind everyone we will have all the contact information because I'd love to know about these retreats that you're having. I think a lot of my listeners and audience would love to know about these kind of retreats that you're having as well, and these get-togethers that you're having. I'm in the country as well. Normally, I'm out there working in my she shed. I just didn't today. Normally, I'm out there in the she shed, but we're not.
Nice, nice.
So, yeah, I think a lot of people would like to know more about that. So I'm glad that you told me about the online and in person. And I want to make sure we can contact everyone with anything that you have upcoming, especially again, it's the new year. I think people love the new year to kind of get a new fresh start. I know that I do. Um, is there anything else that I'm missing that you want to share with us? Because I want to make sure my audience has everything that has all the information that you have to share because it's great. I love it. Love
Yeah, no, I think that like I really love to just work with people any way that works for them. So I really often start with like a complimentary call because I think
it.
it's
Mhm.
important. Like you got to meet me and see like, do I resonate with this woman? Like, and I also want
Right.
to make sure, can I help you? Am I
Yeah.
really the person? And if not, I'm always happy to make referrals and
Yes.
put you in touch with someone who will support you because I think it's important that you can feel that support. And oftentimes I hear from women, community is what's missing, right? Like that's the
Yes. Yes, it
feeling the
is.
supported
Yep.
community is what they're looking for. So I really
Yeah.
try to help them find that.
Yeah. When I first started out 15 years ago, uh, Yeah, I felt very much alone. And then I did manage to get together with some very like-minded, awesome women who were in networking, and that's how I got started. So I agree with you. Community is definitely the most important thing. So I look forward to anyone wanting to join us. Miss, why don't you share anything that you have online with me? And I'd be happy to share it with my audience, because then we could do something all together. I'd like that very much. And I'd like to thank Misty for being our guest, for being my guest today. Thank you very much. I'm sure that a lot of us are going to have a lot of communication with Misty over the next little while. So thank you very much for agreeing to be my guest. I appreciate it. Share all your stuff with us, because there's a whole world out there that wants to listen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.